Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Mystery Sports Podcast. Big Ben strikes again. Benjamin Sesko is a world-class striker. I'm putting it down here. Benjamin Sesko is a world-class striker. There's no doubt about it. Scoring yet again in the Premier League. Saving United again. This is what United needed in a striker, and I think we've got him. And hopefully, touch wood, that Benjamin Sesko is the man who can put the ball in the back of the net for United when it's need to, like Solskjaer did under like Solskjaer did under Fergie, and Al Rooney put the ball in the back of the net. We've got someone. Hopefully, Benjamin Sesko is that guy. I think he is with the goal he scored today. We'll go from the first half really on saw in this game. You know, see the best performances from Man United, and I think no one can argue with that. In the first half, you look at the stats, United were just edging it, which only just, I think Everton had good periods of that game, and especially in the first half, I thought if Everton could have took their chances, but I think that's the story for Everton. If they would have took their chances, they would have gone on that scoreline might have been 1-1 or even 2 or 3-1 to Everton. It's one of those things that United have just defended really well. They've sat back, they've hit on the brake, and we've got 3 points. And that's how you got to win in football games sometimes. You might not dominate the ball, or you might have most of the ball, but when you're playing away, the home crowd's obviously going to be in favour for the home team, like Everton. They're going to have, whenever they have corners or whatever they did today, the fans are going to be uproar. They're going to start cheering louder, and you've got to hit on the brake, and you've got to be clinical. And I think United were clinical with the counter attack they had. Obviously, I thought we could have probably scored 2 more goals on the break. There was one where Cunha slipped. If Cunha plays Sesko in earlier, I think Sesko scores that because he's through on goal. The one at the very end where Sesko probably should have got a second goal for himself. You know what? It doesn't matter. We got 3 points. We're in 4th position. We've put 3 points between ourselves from Liverpool and Chelsea. With 3 points off Villa. Villa could slip up in a derby next weekend. United could go beat Crystal Palace at home. We beat Crystal Palace at home. Then we're 3rd place because of our goal difference. This is what I said at the start of the year. United have to aim for top 4, possibly 3rd if we can. I said it was going to be a stretch, but no one expected Liverpool to be this bad. No one expected Villa to be where they are, and no one expected Chelsea to be, as decent as or as inconsistent as they thought. I thought Chelsea would be a slightly bit more better, but United have punished those mistakes. No Europe this year. Obviously, the cup competitions, the FA Cup and Carabao Cup, are disappointing, but we've made it count in the league, and that's what we got to keep doing. There's no kind of respite for these players. They're only playing 1 game of the week. If they were doing a City and Arsenal, whereby they're playing 2 games a week, a Tuesday or Wednesday and a Saturday or a Sunday, fair enough. Then you'd be like, okay, there's a bit of a respite for them. But these guys are only playing 1 game a week, so they've got to turn up in that game. And I think with that first half, it looked very sluggish. The quality of the passing in the final third was just non-existent from either side, really. I thought Bruno had one of his worst games. Casemiro looked dreadful. Mainu, I don't want to rip into Mainu too much because I do like him. Well, that's not me saying I don't like Casemiro or Bruno, but I just think they had a poor game. Mainu did show bits of quality there, and I think they had a chance where Delo he whipped the ball in, didn't he? And I think and Bremo just had a shot and it blazed it over the bar. But there are signs there that United did play good football, and we've seen that under Carrick. Long may it continue, and obviously hope United get 3rd in the league. I think it's doable. I think Villa will slip up. They're not the strongest side. Neither are United, neither are Chelsea. This top 4 race is entertaining and interesting. I meant to say interesting, then entertaining. But yeah, I think what we could see, though, definitely now is that United have to take this result and go and back it up again against Crystal Palace at home on Sunday at 2:00. United do that, happy days. He's sitting in 3rd in the league. If Villa slip up, it's a tough one. Will Villa slip up? I think they might slip up with it being a derby. so anything can happen really. If we show you the league table, just amazing reading for United. 4th in the league, 48 points, 51 for Villa, 3 points behind them. You know, Liverpool in sixth, Chelsea fifth. 3 points clear of them. Goal difference, one ahead of Villa. You can't really complain. You want to get a few more over Chelsea, but I think Chelsea will drop points. Playing Arsenal, if Arsenal were to win like they did against Fulham, that, like, let's say, if Arsenal beat Chelsea like they did against Tottenham, then let's say it's a 3-0 or something, right? Then obviously that goes down to 15, and United win 2-0. We go on to 13, and it's only 2 goal difference in there. So it makes good reading for United. 4th in the league, can't really complain. Hopefully, we just need to back it up, as I said before. This unbeaten streak is bloody fantastic, isn't it, at the moment? Like, I think the last game United lost was against, who was the last game United lost? I actually don't remember the last game we lost. This is how good we've been. I think the last game we lost was to Villa, I think. Was it Villa? Yeah, Villa. So, that's pretty good reading for United. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 games unbeaten. That's fantastic. Who thought United would be in a 10-game unbeaten streak, which is ridiculous here. And then if you just go on to the player ratings quickly, go on to there. Oh, wrong one. See that there? Can you guys see that? I'm guessing so. I'll just scroll down so you can see the United team a little bit better. So yeah, we go with the player ratings. I think Lemons did very well today. One second. I think with the corners as well, that was ridiculous what we saw in the corners. I think there's got to be some sort of rule where this isn't allowed, because how is Lemons meant to grant? Well, to be fair, he did do it every time it was called into action, and felt he had a very good game. But this corner thing situation needs changing up massively. I think Tarkowski ridiculous. Maguire, I love what Maguire were doing, just bullying off. Euro fantastic. But with Lemons, I'm gonna give him a 7 out of 10. Clean sheet, first clean sheet away from home for United this year in the Premier League. Um, Made some good saves. That one from Michael Keane where he clawed it away, brilliant. This just defensive clearances that Lemons was doing, just a fantastic overall performance. Luke Shaw, I'd probably give Luke Shaw a 6. It didn't really do too much in the game, but you can't argue with a clean sheet, can you? 6 out of 10 for him. Maguire, I thought Maguire had a great game aerially as well. When you got the presence of Beto, Barry, Tarkowski and Michael Keane, I think Maguire did fantastically well, and it just proves why and how good Harry Maguire is in the air. So I'd probably give Harry Maguire 7. Euro, I thought he had he was struggling in the first half, and I tweeted out thinking that I thought Heaven should have started, just because he's a left footer, and I think Heaven, since he's been playing at United, when Fletcher was putting him in, and even Ruben Amorim, I think not Fletcher. I think Heaven looked quite comfortable on the ball, composed. So I probably would have liked to see Heaven start. However, Yoro did very well in that second half. Didn't really put a foot wrong, so I'd give him a 6 out of 10. Delo, I thought Delo had a very good game. Attacking wise, probably could have done better when there was one chance in the second half where he should have cut it back, and he got a good cutback. Gives a tap in for Ahmad. So I'd probably give him a 6.5 out of 10. Casemiro, the quality on the ball, as I mentioned in the first half, wasn't the best from him, so I'd give him a 6, bang average. Mainu, same. I think he looked good on the ball in certain areas of the game, so I'd probably give him a 6 out of 10. Cunha, thought, wow, what a ball for that. To start the counter was fantastic. I thought he was just a wind-up merchant, did what he needed to do. At the end, when he's screaming at James Garner, come on, and then obviously words that we don't want to say live right now. But it's just brilliant from Mateus Cunha. So I'd give Mateus Cunha a 7. Bruno, the quality wasn't there from Bruno. I thought he would have been more influential in the game. Made a great challenge at the end, take the yellow card, brilliant. But that was probably one of the worst game I've seen of Bruno Fernandes this year. And you know me, I love Bruno Fernandes massively. So I'd probably give Bruno a 5 out of 10. It was like, oh no, actually, I'll give him a 6 out of 10. Bang average. Ahmad, same. Ahmad wasn't very good. I think this is now the third game in a row that Ahmad's not looked fantastic. So if I'm looking at into um the Crystal Palace game, I think you probably keep with the same team that started. Obviously, hope Martinez can play. If Martinez can't play, then I think you go Heaven. But I think, Shesko, everyone's probably crying out for Shesko to start. I think Shesko's got to be an impact player, especially against Palace. I think you've got to play Ahmad, but I think he needs to start running and taking people on and just get that confidence back. I think he will eventually get it. Um, but I'd probably give Ahmad a 5. And Buemo, obviously the assist looked decent. Probably give a 6 out of 10. And then we just scroll down to the subs so you guys can see them. So obviously Mazraoui coming on the 70th minute. I think he did a sound job, 6 out of 10. Heaven obviously probably 6. Didn't play much. And obviously Shesko, my man of the match, getting obviously the goal. Benjamin Shesko, what a player, what a striker. Here we go. We can see his stats: 7 goals in the Premier League, 1 assist, getting the winner today. There's nothing more that you can ask for from Benjamin Shesko. And, being that impact player that he was, I think that was fantastic of him. And now the question is, does he start against Palace? Personally, I'm not predicting to start this game, but from what we are doing under Carrick, I would like to see Shesko come as an impact player. You know, let's say it's a similar tale, it's 0-0, and there's nothing happened within the first 5 minutes of the second half. Take Ahmad off, bring Shesko on for the remainder of the game, and you seek your rewards, and you put a striker on, and he scores the winner. That's all you can ask for really in Benjamin Shesko, and I think we've got that from him, especially today. Like I said at the start of the stream, it's a good win. It wasn't the prettiest of performances. It had to be done, and now we've got to go move on for the Crystal Palace game on Sunday. But yeah, if you're new here, please subscribe to the channel, give a video a like, and share to all your family and friends. And stay tuned in for Friday when we'll do the preview for the Crystal Palace game and the Premier League preview and the cricket and stuff like that. Obviously, that rounds off soon as well. Well, thank you all for watching. Catch you on in a bit.